In today's latest news, we discuss all things Enzo Fernandez, and I'm going to give you guys the current up-to-date information around current negotiations, but things are looking very exciting and very promising. To end with things we discussed, Barcelona showing interest in possibly signing Felix for next season. So we have a ton of things to break down and discuss. As you guys can see, I'm feeling quite optimistic, I'm feeling quite hopeful, and yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this dissection of the news that's coming out today around Enzo Fernandez. So please hit that like button for good luck. And I mean it, hit that like button. We need all the luck we can get right now, but things are very close. So I hope you guys enjoy. But before we get into anything, I need to get one massive announcement out of the way first. Today's video comes courtesy of Football Team Game. Now, I've been discussing Football Team Game now in previous videos, and as you guys know, I'm trying to create my own type of dynasty club at this point in time, and I still need some help. Now I want to say thank you to everyone that's joined up with the team so far. I've got to be honest with you guys, it's been an absolutely terrible start to life at Blue Lions Football Club. I mean, we lost 6-1 in a friendly recently. The match report is looking absolutely horrendous, and every time we've been playing games now, it's been defeat after defeat after defeat. I need defenders, I need a left back, and I need more centre backs, and there are still some places available if you guys want to sign up, and of course you find a link below in the description and the top comment too. But right now you guys, I'm absolutely getting killed right now. This is unacceptable. So come and sign up today, my friends, and create your very own football avatar, boost his skills, pick your position, and improve his stats using training sessions and special items too. You'll find a link below in the description and the top comment. Right now, my friends, let's get back to discussing all things Enzo Fernandez. There's been so many conflicting reports coming out, but I'm here to make sense of everything, to give you guys like a bit of a timeline of information to understand what's actually progressing at this point in time. To give you guys some context and backstory from yesterday, we understand last night that board members such as David Bernard and part of the transfer team like Christopher Bevell, as well as Jorge Mendes acting as a third party in these negotiations, were actively holding talks with Benfica last night. Now let's discuss some of the fees around a possible installment plan now, because we have a bit of an indication now about what these actual figures could be. So it does seem like we are prepared to pay slightly over Enzo Fernandez's release clause, and that value is around £112 million. I'm guessing the idea, of course, is to make this more attractive for Benfica to hopefully accept an installment plan. But regardless, we are prepared to pay around 60 million upfront, with the rest of the difference being paid off in 5 equal installments. Now, what's particularly interesting about these negotiations is that these installments aren't performance related. For example, when we signed Mudryk from Shakhtar, they included performance related bonuses such as winning the Champions League or, Mudryk winning a Ballon d'Or, and Shakhtar will earn more money once they get activated. But for this particular offer for Enzo, we are willing to pay the full amount of money. We just want to spread the costs now over time. So if this deal gets accepted, you are looking at a new world record Premier League fee for a player, and you're making history. Personal terms have been met, and Fernandez has already agreed to signing a contract as well too. So in terms of finances, this is everything we know at this point in time. But now let's discuss all the latest reports that have been coming out from this morning up to right now. We start things this morning, and I felt like Mr. Ornstein gave us a lot of positivity and hope when his article came out saying that we are in advanced talks and negotiations now with Benfica to try and get this deal over the line. He reports that Jorge Mendes has been playing a key part in maintaining and opening a dialogue, and he reports that even though we were adamant that we wouldn't come anywhere near close paying the £106 million, right now we are ready to do business. It's up to Benfica now to accept this installment plan. Now, one of the main reasons behind why we desperately want to sign Enzo Fernandez right now is for the natural and inevitable, and that is to beat off competition in the summer, because clubs like Barca, Real Madrid, Man City, plus many others will come, and that will naturally increase the price, increase the wages, and increase everything if you hope to sign Enzo Fernandez. So whilst we have the advantage, we must do what we did for Kai Havertz and sign him right now whilst the competition can't compete. Now, Fabrizio Romano in his YouTube video did announce the fact that there is a growing sense of confidence now around the club that we can reach an agreement to sign Enzo Fernandez. And I mean, I guess that makes sense, because otherwise, why would Egbali and Boli and co fly down to Portugal if Benfica was so adamant that if you don't pay the full release clause, we're not selling? Why would these guys be there? Because you're quickly ending and killing negotiations by simply saying those words. So it's quite obvious that right now they're strongly considering and contemplating this offer, and I'm going to discuss things later on as the story progresses. Now, naturally, with a massive high-profile story like this, there were some negative reports, and of course, most of them centered on the fact that Benfica remain very strong and adamant that if you don't pay the full release clause, we don't want to do business. And there have been many interesting articles. I think there was one from Duncan Castles, and I don't know, I just kind of felt like some of these journalists aren't necessarily, they don't have direct contact with certain figures who are actively taking part in these negotiations. It feels like they're reporting on old stories and old information. And I say this because his report stated that Benfica are still angry about how we started negotiations nearly a month ago. And the great news is that this information now is a thing of the past because we have more significant updates. So right now, let's discuss some of the more positive updates that have come out literally like in this past 30 minutes. And we start by discussing Benfica's manager's press conference that came out earlier this afternoon. Now, Benfica have an upcoming game versus Aruca, and of course, naturally, their manager was going to get pressed upon what is currently happening with Enzo Fernandez. And in this press conference, the manager couldn't admit to the fact that Enzo is still staying and didn't confirm the fact that Enzo is taking any part in the upcoming game. As he says, while the transfer windows are open, we have to be prepared for anything. We all know that there is this situation with Enzo who has a release clause, and if there is a club that pays it, it's a lot of money, we cannot prevent this. If that happens, we have to be prepared and find solutions. At the moment, Enzo is still our player, and we'll see what happens until the end of the market. When the transfer window closes, I will be very happy. We'll be able to fully focus again on playing at the best level until the end of the season. Now, do these statements from the manager sound like a manager that is confident that his player is set to stay and remain? Absolutely not. So right now, let's discuss Enzo Fernandez and where does he fall in line with current negotiations. Now, to start with some positive news, Enzo Fernandez is on the full assault right now, really trying to force a move to sign for us. Now, we understand that during the start of this month, of course, maybe his hastiness, willingness to, force a move at the start didn't go down too well with the Benfica fans, and it put him under a lot of controversy at the time. Since then, he cooled his stance and moved in a lot more respectful manner. But right now that we are actively trying to sign him, he is on the full assault right now to force a move here to sign for us. Now, let's turn to a tweet that came out from reporter Ben Jacobs. Is positive, and as he reports, Fernandez is already actively preparing for this move. He's made it clear to their manager that he wants to leave now, and he's made things even clearer now to the board. So Benfica have a situation where can they necessarily keep a player that is unhappy? That could cause issues for the rest of their season, and for this type of money, I feel like it's too much pressure now from all angles for Benfica to just outright reject things. And the fact that nothing has been announced about a rejection right now tells me that something potentially is happening behind the scenes. And I do kind of feel like the latest up-to-date report that came from Matt Law gives us a great indication behind the current feeling around this deal. And that is the fact that we are growing in confidence that our terms will be accepted by Benfica. It's going to be due to the amount of money, by the fair installment process, as well as the fact that Enzo Fernandez wants this move and is putting a ton of pressure on the Benfica boards. Since the tension that both parties faced during the start of this month, everything's cooled off now and things are a lot more healthier. And at this point in time, Enzo Fernandez is patiently waiting to see what the outcome is going to be. But currently, now we have some more positive reinforcement around this deal, as it's just been announced now that Rui Costa will not be taking part in this special celebration centenary event for Benfica and club Torcedendo. This is positive news because it has been marketed for a very long time that Rui Costa was set to be one of the special guests at the celebration today, but he isn't taking part to continue to have further negotiations and discussions to try and find an agreement. So if you are adamant that you must pay the full release clause and that's that, you aren't cancelling events like this. We know that Mr. Egbali is applying a ton of heat and pressure to get this move over the line. And currently too, Enzo Fernandez is not taking part in training to try and force a move out as well too. It seems like things are slightly aligning now, more in our favour. And I think it simply comes down to this. If you're Rui Costa, if you're this Benfica board and you're in a situation where you're receiving world record fees, this is something you can't easily turn down. For me, I feel like the Benfica boards need to think about the short term and the long term. Of course, keeping Enzo in the short term might make you definitely secure the Portuguese league. You could go slightly further in this year's Champions League, but that could come out a result of long-term growth and capitalization, because if they were to sell him, imagine what they're clearing off their accounting books by writing off 120 million. On top of the sales they receive for Nunes and many other players, they could use the money that they've earned to kickstart a period of dominance now for the next few seasons in the Portuguese league. You can secure the best talents, you can get them on higher wages and contracts as well too. And it kind of feels like by accepting this offer, you're setting yourself up for the foreseeable future, and you're setting yourself up to have very healthy finances as well too. If anything, I feel like the funds earned from an Enzo sale right now could kickstart their own period of spending and safeguarding their future for years to come. So yeah, I'm feeling optimistic. I felt like this would be the final card we play eventually. We all know the reports, but it makes a lot of sense to present this final offer right in the final moments of the window to put maximum peak pressure on Benfica. Enzo wants out. The money is there. It's a tangible thing that is not far from you, and you can have all that money in the next few days if you accept the deal. Because these demands have been met, because this is a very fair deal, you don't look weak to your fans, you don't look weak to the media. If anything, you played hardball and you secured a world record fee for a midfield player, and I think that's something that you'll get a lot of credit for. So if you guys are excited, if you guys think we can do this, let me know in the comment section, and of course hit that like button for even more good luck. Right now, let's move on to another big story that recently dropped, and that's the fact that Everton have now made a 40 million plus 5 million add-on bid to try and sign Conor Gallagher. Now this is probably the perfect time to try and make a move from right now, as we are actively looking to reinforce the midfield. Now for me, could this initial bid now from Everton maybe kickstart interest from other interested parties? For example, Newcastle have shown long-term interest in Gallagher. Could they be forced to engage and possibly create a bidding war around Conor Gallagher? That could be quite handy. Obviously, with Gallagher being a homegrown player, a player from Cobham that costs us absolutely nothing, this is literally pure profit we are adding to the team, and we can write off at least 45 million from the accounts to fall even more in line with FFP. Obviously, I think Gallagher has shown that there's more to come from him, but at the same time, with rebuilds like this, sometimes you have to take a sacrifice, and the fact is right now, Gallagher can earn some of the highest revenue from any player being sold currently. Can you turn that down? I'm not too sure. And I do kind of feel like with this news around Andre Santos now, of course, the guy is currently killing things for the Brazil under-20 team. He's having a significant impact there. And obviously we understand that he has work permit issues, but you do get special exemptions if a particular player is of a high level and if you can prove his potential and why he should still get the work permit. And obviously with his performances for the Brazil under-20s, you're really just boosting your argument for why Santos should get a work permit and play for us. We are actively working on Santos's work permit. Now for me, this simply means one thing. Santos is being seen as a replacement for a Conor Gallagher. I feel like we have an abundance of both spokes midfield players. They're not all going to make it here. And I kind of feel like if one of your guys is attracting like premium value in the market right now, this is an opportunity where you can sell. It's not about him not being good enough. It's just pure business. And, you know, it would have been nice to see him maybe like play here longer, but who knows what could happen in the future. But in my opinion, based on the circumstances right now, in reality, yeah, I would actually accept the fee or hope that the fee can increase and more clubs come in and try and make bids. So right now, let's end things by discussing Barcelona's interest in signing João Felix. So now let's end things with the final reports, and we quickly discuss some reports coming out from Spain that Barcelona are showing interest in long-term target João Felix. Now, I read this story a few days back. It's been intensifying again recently today. And essentially, you know, Barcelona have a very good relationship with the Atleti board. When they signed Griezmann all those seasons back, that's when they kickstarted initial talking periods to try and negotiate something for João Felix. So, of course, at Barca, they have the opportunity and possibility now to activate more economic levers, as well as selling players that they own existingly in their team, of course, to allow more strengthening and funding in their team. So, you know, I don't want to disrespect Barcelona. They've showed with the whole saga for Rafinha last summer that they do have a hold and they do have a say. Of course, we do have very good clauses in the long term to, you know, make this move a permanent at the end. Based on some of these social media posts from João Felix recently, it does seem like he's ready now to leave Atletico Madrid and kickstart a future here with us. And right now, how could you want to leave when we're doing incredible things and really shaking up world football at this point in time? Now, we need to be wary, of course, because when Barcelona sold Depay to Atletico Madrid, that's when they maintained dialogue around João Felix. And listen, if Atleti know that João is going to leave, they might want to play clubs against each other. They might want to use that interest in their favour and take advantage by creating bidding wars. So, let's hope that these clauses really safeguard us to secure him afterwards. But I still feel optimistic that he'll be signing for us on a permanent regardless. So on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.